The Vancouver Canucks will never be the same as NHL insider Elliotte Friedman revealed the shocking truth on Rick Tocchet being out as the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks after being regarded as one of the best. This has major implications on not only this upcoming season, but the seasons to come for the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to break down this Rick Tocchet report, possible replacements, and even more, and you're not going to want to miss that. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 63% not subscribed and you're enjoying this daily Vancouver Canucks content, go down and hit that free subscribe button. We'll give you the dates on everything to do around the Vancouver Canucks. But Griffin, we got to hop straight into this today, where we did know last week we seen Jim Rutherford come out and speaking on Tocchet saying we're going through some process where we've negotiated. Would suspect something this week he'll have a decision. Now a lot of fans looked at this and said, hey, maybe Rick Tocchet's coming back. How do we look at this? But now it's official as we get a tweet from Elliotte Friedman. The word is this afternoon that Rick Tocchet will not be returning as the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. Believe there will be a full statement with his rationale in the next little while, but adds Vancouver to the teams looking for a new bench boss. Now, just kind of throwing at you, what is your initial reaction on Rick Tocchet being out as the head coach, and now the Canucks are just looking for, yet again, another coach that maybe will stick around for a while?
It's crazy how much the tides have turned over the course of one season. We went from having the All-Star guys, just like I was saying to you before we were recording, the All-Star picture that you were to look at last year. Brock Boeser, Elias Lindholm, JT Miller, Thatcher Demko, Quinn Hughes, and Elias Pettersson. All those guys could be gone in the next 2 years. And that would just be a relic of the past. A lot of them being gone this past season. And now Rick Tocchet added to that list just 20, not even 24 hours after I was covering how it seems optimistic Tocchet could be back, but also Mike Sullivan being fired opens up a possibility if they don't get him. Paired with all the things that we had heard throughout the entire season, that Patrik Allvin wanted to extend Rick Tocchet, Jim Rutherford wanted to extend Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet wanted to wait till after the season to talk about it, to not have the focus be on that all season. And then it comes to this as the eventual ending of the story. Unfortunate to see it happen. I know the Canucks fans were very divided on this as a whole. A lot of people wanting him to stay, a lot of people wanting him to go because of the type of system that he runs. But with this, it's going to suck for Vancouver because now we not only have to look for a new bench boss, got to look for a new coaching staff, got to look for a whole bunch of things to keep players happy as well. And now, like you were saying, it does leave a lot of questions for the future concerning Quinn Hughes, concerning Elias Pettersson, concerning Connor Garland now as well, and so many other guys. The implications with this are insane. And honestly, I think Vancouver is about to be up shit's creek without a paddle.
And the big thing, looking at just Rick Tocchet's season with the Canucks, 3 years with the Canucks, 108 wins, 65 losses, having a 538 win percentage in the playoffs. He was regarded as one of the best coaches in Canucks history. Yes, did he have flaws? He did. Did he have some systems that a lot of fans didn't agree with? Yes, we've seen that kind of implemented on the ice, where we've seen a lot of guys have a down year, but people always avoid the topic of the injuries that a lot of these guys dealt with. A lot of these guys didn't even play close to 80 games. A lot of these guys had bad years, yes, but the Canucks had so much drama floating around them. We've seen the Canucks management not really be able to hold on to a coach for quite some time. Bruce, 2 years. Travis Green was 5 years. Yes, Rick Tocchet 3, but working your way down. There's a lot of guys that were here for a long period of time, but going back to Pat Quinn, and not a lot of these guys stayed for over 3 years, and it sure shows the turnover on a lot of the Canucks within this management group. Now, obviously, looking at this, you can blame the owner for not wanting to spend money. That's a completely different topic. But looking at Rick Tocchet, yes, scoring went down a bit. He played a lot of hard-nosed playoff hockey that probably didn't fit within this lineup a lot. We can all agree on this, but Rick Tocchet is one of the top coaches. We've seen him linked to teams like Philadelphia. There's a lot of openings. Pittsburgh now has an opening he can head home to, but looking at a Canucks perspective, what does the team do at this point? Yes, you can bring up Mike Sullivan as a possible option, but coming from Friedman as well on the NHL Network, I can't imagine the New York Rangers allowing anyone to outdo themselves in the pursuit of Mike Sullivan. It seems like Mike Sullivan is going to be a hot commodity. So is Rick Tocchet, but it seems like he is linked and ending up going to the Rangers. So just Griffin, obviously there's so many names coming out. We're not going to just break down every coach's name. But when looking at this, would you rather the Canucks go get a young coach, offensive minded, that can change the scoring on this Canucks team? Or would you rather go out and get someone that has been around a bit to help elevate them to their game and hopefully push them right back into the playoffs?
with how young this team is and the style of hockey that they want to play that they weren't able to play under Tocchet, I definitely would like to see a veteran coach come in here who has won before. That's why Mike Sullivan would have been so perfect in Vancouver with these players, because even how Jim Rutherford in his press conference, he was talking about Stevie Yzerman and Scotty Bowman, the transition of not wanting to go with going from points to cups, how Mike Sullivan did that with Sidney Crosby, and Jim Rutherford wanting to have that happen with Rick Tocchet and Elias Pettersson. Now he has a chance to go and do that with Mike Sullivan and Elias Pettersson. So try and bring him in. But it looks like he's going to New York. So obviously this just makes it everything just suck even more. And yeah, I know you were kind of alluding to it, how it's a whole separate can of worms, but I think ownership is definitely a part of this. I think Aquilini's cheap ass needs to get out of there, get a training facility for one, and then you might have a better chance at holding down a relationship with these coaches because there's so much turnover. And yeah, you've tried changing ownership and GM, or not ownership, but management, GM, president of operations, coaches, and all this, and nothing has tended to work out long term. Maybe you're the problem, and that's where you have to take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, all right, maybe I should step back, let someone else take over the reins, and now the team can be run the way it needs to be run, because it hasn't been going very well from a head coaching standpoint for quite some time, where even when we have a good coach, we seem to let him go for the stupidest reasons or for some valid reasons, but ultimately more stupid often than not. And that seems to be the case here with Vancouver. Training facility maybe have been the straw that broke camel's back, but I can't confirm that obviously, but I definitely think it was a part of it. But the other thing that I'm thinking of is something that I alluded to last night in my episode. Manny Malhotra, look at the job that he's done in Abbotsford this year, what he's done for those players. And half of those players played for Vancouver this year, where we saw a lot of guys make that jump to the NHL in a more consistent role. And a lot of those guys earn themselves permanent roster spots or will be playing twice as many NHL games as they did last season. So with that, you hand over the reins to a young guy like that, or young coach, I should say, with Manny Malhotra just starting his coaching career as a head coach with Abbotsford. If they can win the Calder this year, I definitely see them considering Manny Malhotra as a very high priority candidate for a head coaching spot in Vancouver.
And listen, guys, the biggest thing is we don't know all the full statement. This is going to come out. We're going to drop an episode immediately, so keep your eye out for that as well. But the big thing is, and listen, Canucks fans, I don't want to root for a downfall for anyone. Root for a Tampa Bay downfall. We need John Cooper in this city leading this team to a Stanley Cup like we've seen with Tampa. But what's your guys' thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on just Rick Tocchet being out as the head coach? It feels like one of those situations that's not even real with how much he was loved in the city. I know a lot of people hated him as well, but Rick Tocchet was one of the coaches in the NHL. Sorry, that's a bad statement. He was one of the most winningful coaches in the NHL and in Canucks history. This was a guy that brought this team into the second round, dealing with injuries, and still made a push. Yes, this year sucked, but he still had a lot to give with the team. What's your guys' thoughts? What your thought was on the breaking point? What do you think the Canucks do next? What coach would you want? Go down and leave a comment down below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We're going to have a lot of episodes on this, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Griffin, and take care.